Is there any psalm as beloved, cherished, and committed to memory as the 23rd? If you mumble a few of the opening words aloud, almost anybody around you will pick up the cue and know the words that follow and may join you. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Last week we talked about the Ten Commandments, and along with the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm completes what we might think of as the Holy Trinity of the Scriptures, the three pieces of sacred text that are foundational to our faith. There are many others, of course, but you don't even see John 3:16, for God so loved the world. We don't see that etched into marble and hearts with the same frequency, even if it is, arguably, more germane theologically to our faith as Christians. One of the particular things about the 23rd Psalm, as with the Lord's Prayer and the Ten Commandments, is that we cherish them in the language of King James, as they were translated into English some 400 years ago, the era of Shakespeare and Leonardo da Vinci and Galileo, as well as Christopher Marlowe and many others. Although none of us speak in the way that Shakespeare or any of his characters in his plays spoke, we still love the traditional language of the time. He leadeth me beside still waters. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The poetic rhythm and nuance is so much more moving than the ordinary words we might use today, even though these were the ordinary words of the day 4 centuries ago. And I think this goes further and deeper than simply habit or nostalgia. Although I think we do have to be mindful about the possibility of sentimentality being a factor. After all, there are still many Catholics that fondly look back to the old Mass in Latin before English was allowed. At the time, you may not have understood a word, but it sounded like godly language. And we might say the same thing about the King James Version of the Bible. But the times, as Bob Dylan wrote, the times they are a-changin', and never more so than in the last few months during this pandemic. And the tricky thing for us in these turbulent seas is to make sure we hang on to our anchors, but also be ready to hoist our sails to catch God's fresh winds. Alex and Esther have read to us 2 different versions of the 23rd Psalm today, our beloved and familiar King James Version, and a more recent, almost radical version known as the Message. Both are based on the original Hebrew, drawing upon ancient manuscripts that are older than all of us put together. The first is how the translators saw the 23rd Psalm in 1611 and how they interpreted it into English. The second one is how scholars of the 1990s saw the exact same words and translated into their English. Now, I'm by no means a convert to the Message as a translation of the Bible. Parts of it sound, well, just crazy weird. But what I do find is that reading it helps me break my habit, my old way of looking at the 23rd Psalm that I've known all my life. The new words breathe fresh perspective into the old. So this isn't about substituting the new one for the old one. It's about allowing the two of them to complement each other, the new and the old together. It's like keeping a firm grip on our anchor line while tentatively testing the sail in that fresh wind. Maybe, to push our metaphor a bit further, we'll let out our anchor line just a bit to see where that fresh wind on our sail will take us. This is Thanksgiving Sunday in the midst of a pandemic that may mean we'll not be celebrating the day with our loved ones gathered around a big table. Our old traditions, beloved as they are having to adapt to the new times. The old normal is changing into something else, something we're all trying to figure out, whatever this new normal is going to be. But the anchors of our old Thanksgiving, the gratitude for all the blessings we have and we share, the comfort and love of friends and family, the strength we have grounded in our faith and our church community, the abiding presence of God with us. None of these has changed. Those anchors are strong and solid and secure. And at the same time, our sails, if we lift them, are catching new winds. Those winds can be all over the place for us and introducing us to new ways that God is moving in our lives. Caring for each other when we can't actually get together. Generously sharing our blessings with others less fortunate. Perhaps donating to the food bank or sponsoring meals at the Scott Mission. Joining a church Zoom meeting to talk about books or faith or recipes. Reaching out to strangers simply because they are friends we haven't met yet. Perhaps signing an online petition to add your voice to the thousands that are concerned for the environment or democratic rights or justice of any and every stripe. The possibilities are endless if we can but let our anchor ropes out a little bit and let the winds of God stretch us beyond the safety of our familiar harbors. If we can hold our traditions gently and lovingly, but also be open to new interpretations of how God is alive and moving in the world, we might even see the 23rd Psalm, so beloved and so familiar, reveal new ways of understanding. May God bless this time to us. Amen.